many of us here this morning are feeling as I do? The week ahead is likely to be a period of unease. Unease insofar as the main celebrations of Christmas, the gatherings of families and friends have taken place. Our fridges still retaining remnants of the excess food floating. The world has yet to return to the normal routine. I see it as a sort of no man's land until our daily routines are back in place. We work as a team. Furthermore, as I started preparation for this, I found that the reading set for today, although it is traditionally for the first Sunday of Christmas, whereas actually today is the second. This anomaly happens every 6 years or so, when Christmas Day falls on a Sunday, and as such is therefore the first Sunday of Christmas. Very confusing, and it's not just me who's experienced by that, but I hope that clarifies the position. Student of caution, I don't need doubts on that. But let's not get distracted by that detail. So regardless of whether we regard today as the first or the second Sunday of Christmas, better that we direct our thoughts to the message that the passages of Scripture have for us. The Epistle to the Hebrews was written sometime in the 1st century to a group of Christian Jews who were in danger of giving up their Christian faith. The writer, whoever it was, set out to strengthen that faith by showing Jesus as the one who truly reveals God to man. A message which is as relevant today as it was at the time it was written. And the gospel passage, as read from Matthew, builds on the extract from Hebrews as it relates to the events at the very start of Jesus' earthly life. It shows us that even at that early stage, Jesus appears as a threat to the vested interests of those who had power and influence. Wherever the truth and goodness of God are seen, inevitably a backlash of evil is provoked, and others innocently are caught in the crossfire. Victory will be won, but at a cost. The suffering began early. The little child became a refugee. His parents driven from their home in fear. Other children became the innocent victims of a paranoia. Their parents grieved in anguish. At one level, Herod was the chief player in the drama, inflicting on others to save his own position. Yet, at another, he was but a big part actor in the great drama of salvation. For it is God who is ultimately in control. Herod's actions served only to demonstrate that God's plan was unfolding as he himself foretold. In God's world, the humble carpenter from Nazareth had a far more privileged role than that of the King of Jerusalem. Jesus, God's Son, had come to fulfill the role originally assigned to Israel, was rescued from slavery at Egypt to be God's servant. God, in the form of Jesus, came among us in an unexpected manner. He loved his life, not quite fitting the system, but died like a common criminal, but rose again so triumphantly 3 days later. Now that's quite a lot to take in. There is much on which to ponder. As part of my ministry license renewal process, recently I had calls to study Psalm 91. In it, the psalmist enthusiastically assures all that God's protection is there for us at all times. This is emphasized throughout the verses of that psalm. It's easy enough for us to accept that in our cozy environment here in Henmead. But I ponder on the words of those psalms, and my thoughts turn back to those who suffered in the Holocaust. And to the refugees today who are arriving on our shores in flimsy, inflated boats, having been fleeced of all their possessions to pay for the safety of a passage across the Channel. And I pondered too on the people in the Ukraine who are living, barely existing more like, under the constant threat of bombardment in conditions without the basic facilities of heat, light, or water. To accept the assurances of God's protection when faced with those situations tests their faith to degrees we cannot even begin to appreciate. Let's remember just how much we have and how little they have. But none of us can be in any doubt that we are living in challenging times. The country's finances are in a mess insofar as we have borrowed eye-watering sums of money to have seen us through the COVID-19 epidemic. Our health service is at breaking point, with many thousands of job positions unfilled, as staff have to leave to seek alternative employment in order to be able to pay their basic bills. As we are all well aware, this has impacted on the ambulance services, with queues of ambulances outside A&E departments across the country now an everyday occurrence. Life is complex. It's sometimes difficult to see how these factors will impact on our lives in an ever-changing world. That is why it is so important to find a little time of quiet each day to be alone with God. That's not easy, especially if your house is full of lively children. It may have to be early in the morning before they wake, or later in the evening after they have gone to sleep. The actual hour doesn't matter. The actual time does. And so, this new year, 2003, as it begins to run from, may we be comforted by the knowledge of the power of God, for through faith of the risen Christ, all is possible. No doubt we shall complain as the fuel bills drop through our little letterboxes, showing figures beyond anything like what has gone before. But before we moan too loudly, let's remember the people in the Ukraine. Their resilience will continue to be tested for many months to come, I fear. But it is when we are suffering and or in pain that our faith is tested. And in saying that, I think back to my own situation 4 years ago. As we heard in that extract from Hebrews, because he himself was tested by what he suffered, he is able to help those who are being tested. And although today is the first day of the new year, I've resisted the temptation to refer to New Year resolutions. We've tried them in the past, and almost every case, by the end of every January, they've all been abandoned. Some never get off the ground. But having said that, do hope that we will find that extra time each day to reflect on what is good in our lives. So may we face this new year refreshed and renewed in the light of the Christmas message. You recall the words of our opening hymn this morning. Christ triumphant, ever reigning, Saviour, Master, King. Yours the glory and the crown, the high renown, the eternal name. You can't sit quietly in that much more, can you? As he said, something in the heart. Christ being at the centre of our lives is the true message of Christmas. And so may it be so for us all, that every day of this new year, 2023, be a Christmas day for us. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.